I know you've heard of limiting beliefs, but do you know what yours are? Keep watching to discover what you might be holding on to that you didn't even realize. First, you want to know what your limiting beliefs are? Here you go. Get a pen and a piece of paper and write down the biggest stretch goal that you can imagine for your business right now. And I mean the one that you wake up in the morning and you think about, the one that you think about when you go to sleep at night, the one that you tell yourself is not possible, that stretch goal. For a lot of our clients, and I've worked with thousands of business owners over the years, their stretch goal is 7 figures. Like that's the magic number. Unfortunately, for a lot of, especially women business owners, only 3% make it over the 7-figure mark. That's not a lot. And so I understand that when you think about setting a stretch goal like this for yourself, it can seem overwhelming. It can seem impossible. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to give you a second, right? Because a lot of times we're watching videos like, oh, I don't want to do it. I want to challenge you to either at least think about it in your head or write it down. What is your big stretch goal for your business in the next 12 months? Got it? All right. Now, as soon as you thought of it, what are the limiting beliefs that started to pop up, right? Because here's what happens. We think about our multi-6 or 7-figure business goal, and immediately we have a limiting belief that shows up that says, you can't do that. Who are you to think you can reach that goal? Or you don't have the experience to make that happen. Or what if other people find out that you're trying to do that, right? Like all these limiting beliefs start to come up. Or beliefs like, I'm going to have to work all the time to make that happen. Or I can't afford to hire. So what limiting belief just popped up for you? Or which one of those really resonated? If you're writing it down, or if you have a pen and paper, go ahead and write it down. If not, just think about it in your head for a moment. Because here's the truth. When you can identify a limiting belief, then you can start to shift it. And what I found in all the years that I've been doing this is that often one limiting belief is standing between you and your stretch goal. So we'll get to that before we wrap up today. So you want to stick around because I'm going to show you how to shift your limiting belief, okay? So second, maybe you didn't know this, but limiting beliefs are everywhere in our lives. As a business owner, I find that they often show up in my business world. But then when you go to reach other goals in your life, or you want to start new projects or new hobbies, you'll find that limiting beliefs pop up there as well. For example, one day I was thinking, I would love to play pickleball. It's sweeping the nation right now. Maybe some of you play pickleball. But immediately I had limiting beliefs about, ooh, it looks like a lot of running. I don't know how that would be. I used to play tennis, but I've heard it's different. It looks more challenging. I'm going to have to learn a new game. Like I made up this whole story about why it wasn't possible. And this could show up with weight loss, with health, maybe even with writing a book. All of those areas of our life are littered with limiting beliefs and thoughts that we can't have that. And those are just lies that we tell ourselves. And inside of that, what you want to realize is that a limiting belief is just a thought that you think is true. Think about that for a second. A limiting belief is just a thought that you think is true. And that belief is there to keep you safe. Or it thinks it's there to keep you safe, right? It's your subconscious mind saying, well, if you write that book, you're going to have to put it out in the world. If you get super healthy, and this might not seem like you think this is true, but if you get super healthy, then you might have to start dating again. Or if I grow my business to 7 figures, maybe other people will be threatened by me or they won't want to be friends anymore. They won't want to be in my life, right? So you start to pull it away and you start to see that there are limiting beliefs littering our lives. Now that might sound like a terrific downer, but the truth is recognizing the limiting beliefs allows you to begin to shift them, which we're going to talk about. Third, though, I want you to think about this because sometimes people struggle with coming up with the limiting belief. It's like, I don't know, Ursula, I don't know if I have a limiting belief. I don't know exactly what it is. But you can ask yourself this. When you think about reaching that massive revenue goal, what's the story you tell yourself about why you can't do it? Because inside the story that you tell yourself is the limiting belief. So the story might be, well, I grew up in a house that didn't have a lot of money. I didn't know any business owners. I don't think I'm meant for that world. And you start to go, oh, that's the story I'm telling myself. So inside of that is a limiting belief that having a business is for other people, but it's not for me. Do you see how I did that? So start to notice, what are the stories you're telling yourself about why you can't have the business you want or why you can't have the revenue you want? So this is what I've been waiting to share with you. I'm going to dig into the 3 steps to change a limiting belief. And if you've never done this before, I just want to share with you, my background is in NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And I got a tremendous amount out of the NLP program that I attended, but I'll tell you, the most important thing I learned is how to shift a belief. Over the years, I've added a little bit of a shortcut to it, and I've made it even simpler and even easier to shift a belief. So don't underestimate the simplicity that I'm going to show you and think that it's not effective, because it is. All right. You already did the first part, which was identify your limiting belief. If you didn't do that yet, you want to go back. And again, the fastest way to identify a limiting belief is to set a big goal for yourself and then say, what's the story I'm telling myself about why I can't have that? Second, you want to notice 3 things that are not true about your limiting belief. I'll give you an example. A lot of our clients show up with a belief that they hate sales or they hate selling, like hate it. And they hate salespeople. And so the belief might be, I don't want to be perceived as being pushy or salesy in the sales process, because if I am, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pick up the phone. I'm not going to follow up. I'm not going to fill in the blank, right? And what I have them do is write that limiting belief down. And I ask them what's not true about that. What's not true about you being pushy or salesy in the sales process? And one of the things they notice right away is it's almost impossible to be pushy or salesy because they're so afraid to be perceived that way. They go in the opposite direction. They're the opposite of pushy and salesy, right? So it's not true that they're being pushy or salesy. Second, when they really start to dig into this whole idea of being pushy or salesy in the sales process, they realize that they're truly there to serve their client. They're there to make a difference. They're there to serve them. They're there to solve a problem and meet a need. And so that limiting belief starts to fall away. Another thing that's not true about it is that deep down, they truly believe in their product or service. And they start to realize that by not following up, by not reaching out more than 5 times, they're actually doing a disservice to their prospects because they're not solving their problem or meeting their need. So again, that limiting belief just starts to get disassembled. It falls apart. So you can see already we've identified your limiting belief. We've leaned into the 3 things that are not true about it. And the third step to change a limiting belief is to create a new belief. And I call that new belief an achieving belief. In my book, The Belief Zone, I talked a lot about how to move out of your comfort zone into a new belief zone. Your comfort zone is that space that feels really nice. It's like, I've made it to a certain level in my business. I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. But it's not going to get me to that next level. And I used to ask myself, where do you go when you leave your comfort zone? And I realized that you actually move into a new belief zone, right? You move out of your comfort zone into a new belief zone. And when you change your limiting belief to an achieving belief, all of a sudden you have a completely different momentum in your business. So in the example of, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson, right? The new belief is this. Are you ready? Because you might want to take this one on for yourself as well. I am a professionally persistent problem solver. And the reason that that belief will give you momentum is because of the first 2 words. 2 of the most powerful words in the English language are I am. And the reason is everything your subconscious mind hears after I am, it believes. And so when you say, I am a professionally persistent problem solver, your subconscious mind says, yeah, I am. I am a professionally persistent problem solver. Now, if you want to supercharge that belief, I challenge you to write that belief for 30 days, 20 times a day in the morning. So get up in the morning, write that new belief 20 times, and continue to do that for 30 days, and watch yourself acting from that new place, from that new belief, and see what happens. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed learning about how to shift a limiting belief and how to create a new achieving belief to get that momentum in your business. Stick with me because next up, we're going to talk about 5 reasons your business isn't growing and how to fix it. And remember, 2xing your business is for you too.